Hello and welcome to See Here, the programme for the 9 million deaf and hard of hearing people in the UK. But first, October is Black History Month. It's an opportunity to celebrate black pride and cultural identity, as well as share knowledge of the achievements and contributions of black people throughout history. We look at the British black deaf community and what this celebration means to them. We sent Ahmed Madawi to find out.
Black History Month, BHM, is a unique opportunity for us black men and women to look back at our numerous achievements throughout history. BHM was set up in the UK back in 1987 and has happened every October ever since. High achievers like him, and others like him, had such a powerful impact on the black community. They are the role models young black people can aspire to. But do black deaf young people feel the same?
From what I see, there's not enough information about Black History Month in the deaf community.
My family have told me a bit about black people and black history, but I was never taught about it at school, so I don't really know about it.
Yes, Black History Month is very important. Yes, we need to know more about black deaf history. I mean, I don't really know much about it.
I know famous deaf people like Memnos and Clive Mason, but famous black deaf people? No.
Britain is a diverse multicultural society. The UK's deaf community also incorporates many cultures, and black deaf people, of course, are included in that. But is the black deaf identity still there and going strong, or has it disappeared over time?
Professor Bensi Wall is director at the Deafness, Cognition and Language Research Centre at UCL. She oversaw a thesis entitled Black Deaf or Deaf Black by Melissa Sarah James, published in 2001.
I think a black deaf person is a person whose primary identity is associated with being deaf, and they see themselves as black. It's something additional to their primary identity. A deaf black person would be a person whose identity is wrapped up in being black, but who on top of that is a person who is deaf. One isn't better than the other, and unfortunately in English you can't say two words at the same time.
What is more crucial to the black deaf community in terms of identity? Being deaf, being black, or do the two go inextricably hand in hand? We met with Kevin Buckle to find out his view.
20 years ago, See Here produced the first ever programme focusing on black deaf people. The programme followed a young black deaf student on a personal journey, exploring the question of his black and deaf identity.
I would like to say that it is difficult enough being a black person within a white community, but it is much harder to be deaf and black with no access to our culture and the question of identity that many of us ask ourselves. If we lived in a more open-minded and accommodating society, perhaps I could say I'm black first, but not yet. It is important we share our identities and culture. Then maybe I'll have the pride to say positively, yes, I am black and deaf.
20 years on, and Kevin now works as a community support worker. Have his views changed in the intervening time?
What does having a black deaf identity mean?
Well, really, being black and deaf means being doubly discriminated. It's a minority within a minority. There is the deaf signing community, which is small. Then there is an even smaller group who are black. You're almost invisible. Of course, you can see we're black, but in a crowd, you're invisible. But it's an important part of your identity, your social identity. For example, within Croydon, there is a large thriving black community with a language and a variety of things happening. This creates a sense of ownership, and is happening elsewhere too. LEMDA, the London Ethnic Minority Deaf Association, was set up and was amazing. It helped encourage and motivate deaf individuals. There were a number of activities such as Black History Month, and it provided a building where people could go, be educated and gain a sense of identity. White people were also involved, so they too could improve their knowledge and awareness. This was really positive, but over time things changed and it sadly had to close. But the good thing is that the older generation had experience of this, and now they are able to pass on and share their experiences. One thing that concerns me is their future. We need to influence and encourage them to gain a sense of identity. This is vital.
LEMDA began in 1996, but sadly is no longer running. Sala Mazuria was a former key member of staff for LEMDA. She regularly ran BHM events for deaf people.
I think the reason why people are not interested now, which is a real shame, is they're unaware of our past, the slavery that happened and the sadness of our history. Times have changed. People have moved on and they're no longer interested. They want to be involved in different communities, socialising, drinking, and they're all taking different routes. We tried to encourage them to be involved, but the interest just isn't there.
So in 2011, what does it mean to be deaf and black? Of course, opinion on the subject can be divided.
Student dreams of becoming the first deaf Prime Minister. He was inspired to study politics when Barack Obama became President of the US.
We need black deaf role models for people to look up to. If they are there, then others will look up to them and achieve more. If more deaf people are achieving, then people become inspired and learn from them. For example, we have the first ever black president in history, and that gives black people a role model to be encouraged by. But where are our deaf role models? Where are they? We need the evidence, the proof that deaf people can achieve. Then we can pass this on to future generations. If you look back through history, you can see the evidence of what has been achieved and that people can accomplish anything they want to. They should inspire others to do the same. We need to keep this going and not lose what has already been achieved.
So, black and deaf, or deaf and black, whichever it may be, it's clear we need positive role models, and that is the most important thing.
It is so sad to see the decline of youth clubs. Maybe in the future, the next Greater London Deaf Association, which is under the BDA, they would see the importance to appoint a BME community worker to support our young people. They would be an advocate, develop strong connections and be a role model. This would be my hope for the future.
The deaf community has a strong and thriving sense of multiculturalism, but we must not forget who we are, particularly our black deaf identity. This is why Black Deaf History Month is so vital. It aims to encourage black deaf identity to carry on remembering our roots and to proudly celebrate our heritage.
If you'd like to know more about Black History Month, do take a look at our website. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Do join us again next time. Goodbye.